C's biggest mistake, written by Walter Bright. Hey, Walter Bright. December 22, 2009. Remember, C hasn't changed a lot in the last little bit, okay? They've added some nice little thread APIs, but that's about it. Okay, C is arguably the world's most successful programming language. I already take offense to this, okay? I know this was written before Rust came out, but just think about how much you get to tell people about the fact you use Rust, right? Like, what is success in a programming language? Is it a language doing something that's useful, or is it the ability to tell people you use the language? Because, like, really in my head, Haskell's the most successful language ever written because you are able to look down on every other person on Earth. Like, Haskell's really the pinnacle of all programming languages. Then, Rust is a really good second, maybe Lisp and Rust are kind of tied because in Lisp you can be like, data is code and code is data. And nobody even knows what that means unless if you're already so deep into Lisp that makes sense. Doesn't make any sense for me. I don't even know what it means, right? And so, just a thought, okay? Just a thought I'm thinking right now. All right. Its success has, of course, endless tempted people to improve upon it. Lord, he doesn't even know about Zig yet. Thus, C is probably the patriarch of the longest list of languages. Notable among these are C++, the D programming language. Everyone loves a little bit of D in their life. And most recently, Go. Go was in 2009? Damn. There are endless discussion threads on how to fix C going back to the 80s. So this is a well-trod ground. What could possibly be added to this soup? I posit that most such discussions centered around detail. Most interesting is what is the largest fundamental mistake? We should take into account the context of the times that spawned C, the problems it was trying to solve, and the environment in which it was intended to be used. Keep in mind, it was developed for 16-bit machine with extremely limited resources available. It's a different world, right? Okay, y'all running VS Code. You don't even have an opinion, okay? You don't even get an opinion on this, okay? And did I just see Kotlin in the chat when I'm reading a C article? Okay, hey, you can Kotlin these nuts. Okay? You can Kotlin these nuts if you keep that up, buddy. All right. Let's see. I'd like to dismiss things like it doesn't do garbage collection, functional programming, dynamic typing, or OOP. Those aren't problems C attempted to address, so the lack of them are not mistakes. Beautifully written. I love that. What mistakes has caused more grief, more bugs, more workarounds, more endless hours consumed, etc. than any other? Many people would like to say null pointers. I don't agree. Okay. He does not think the billion-dollar mistake is a null pointer. Conflating pointers with arrays. All right, let the man cook. Would you just let him cook? I don't mean them using the same syntax or the implicit conversion of arrays to pointers. I mean the inability to pass an array to a function as an array, even if it is declared to be an array. C will silently convert the array to be a pointer and will rewrite the function declaration so it is semantically a pointer. Void foo char is equivalent to void char star. People call it a car star. I still call it a char star. Okay, why do I have such stupid opinions in my life? Why do I think mute, M-U-T, should be pronounced mute, but because it's mutable, but char should be pronounced char because it's character? Why am I wrong? Why am I right? I am right or wrong. I'm not sure. I think I'm right. Is it GIF or GIF? It's GIF. Everyone knows that. Okay. Hypocrite. I know. I'm just a hypocrite. This seemingly innocuous convenience feature is the root of endless evil. It means that once arrays leave the scope in which they are defined, they become pointers and lose the information which gives the extent of the array dimensions. What are the consequences of losing this information? An alternative must be used. For strings, the whole reason the zero terminator, for an alternative, oh my goodness, an alternative must be used. For strings, it's the whole reason the null terminator for the null terminator. Wow, I keep thinking there should be more. For whatever reason, my brain wants more sentence when it gets to this point, and it can't have it. It just can't have it. For other arrays, it is inferred programmatically from the context. Naturally, every situation is different, and so an endless array of bugs ensue. Beautiful pun. And I agree with this. The train wreck just unfolds in slow motion from there. The galaxy of C string functions from the unsafe stir copy to sprint F onwards. Sprint F. Who doesn't love a good sprint effing? Is a direct result. There's obvious attempts at fixing this, such as safe C library. Then there are all the buffer overflows because function handles handed a pointer have no idea what the limits are, and no array bounds checking is possible. I feel like I totally agree with this. Real talk, first off, real talk, I feel like I cannot read today. Like, my dyslexia is at the highest it's been in a long time. I didn't get great sleep last night because I was up too late, and now I feel like I cannot read because I don't know what happens. Whenever I don't get good sleep, my reading just goes way out the window, and my dyslexia just gets horrifying. Either way, I actually completely agree with this because this was the hardest jump for me, going from Java to C. So at my school, when I became a learned man, right? We started with Java, programming 1. And then after that, for programming in C, the one thing that tripped me up more than anything else wasn't arrays as pointers. It was the fact that you couldn't contain the length, right? You couldn't disambiguate a string from an array. Even though, I mean, one can argue that a string is an array. I get it. Not arguing it. But it's like one of those, but the bound checking I found to be such a disaster. And that was always the hardest part. Other than all the seg faults I got constantly and continuously. Like, I got seg fault after seg fault. Constantly. And so that, for me, that was one of the hardest parts. This problem was inherited in Toto by C++, which consequently spawned 10 years of attempts to create a usable string class. Classic C++. Eventually, the standard string result is comprised by its needs to be compatible with C zero-terminated strings. C++ addressed the more general array problem by inventing standard vector, and many programming guidelines eschew the generic T-style arrays. But the legacy of C arrays continues in C++ with unsafe iterator design. C99 attempted to fix this problem, but the fatal error it made was still not combining the array dimensions with the array pointer into one type. Yes, the fat pointer was a very good idea, which is also, like, you can use the same concept for type enums, which I really, really like. Like, I love the idea of a language to be able to, not a type enum, but like a typed union, a tagged union. Like, I love the idea of being able to use fat pointers as more of a first-class citizen to solve a lot of problems, right? That's how you can solve the whole length problem on an array. That's how you can solve also, like, a tagged union. You just have it kind of built into a language in a nicer way, and it doesn't suck nearly as much. It, like, takes all the dumb things that I do out of it. But let's see, but all isn't lost. C can still be fixed. It just needs a little new syntax. Oh, damn. This was suggested in 2009. No way it's actually going to happen. Meaning an array is passed as a so-called fat pointer, i.e. a pair consisting of a pointer to the start of the array and a size t of the array dimension. Of course, this won't fix any existing code, but it will enable new code to be written correctly. I'd love that. I would literally love this. Made by 2109, yeah. Can now be deprecated by convention and compilers. Even better, transitioning to the new way can be done by making declaration binary compatible with older code. Okay, suggesting pre-compiler macros is never like a better. This never makes me happy. I've never once said, hey, you know what I want? I want more pre-compiler macros. You know what I want? I would like to be able to conditionally think about my code. Said nobody ever. Okay? Nobody wants to say that. This change isn't going to be going to transform C into a modern language with all the shiny bells and whistles. It'll still be C, in spirit as well as practice. It will just relieve C programmers of dealing with the one particular constant, pernicious source of bugs. I love this. Pernicious. I said nacious. It's nicious. References. All this kind of stuff. Nice acknowledgments. Bartos. Malasqui. Maluski. For reviewing the draft of this. All right, this is actually, this does actually seem super cool. I'm not going to lie to you. If C got this would really alleviate a huge set of bugs that you just don't need to have. Because it actually disambiguates the type. Because in some fundamental way, I know we like to treat strings as arrays. I mean, really, they're just memory. They're just buffers underneath. I get it. But there is like this, there is a difference between them. Because they just are different. So, oh no, I love this article. I think it's a great article. I always want to love C, but every time I use it, I don't think I love C. But I want to love C. Like, C feels so academically beautiful. You know what I mean? But practically every time I use it, I go, I don't like this. Why am I doing it this way? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I love C. It's a toxic relationship. It's abusive. Every single time I get lured back in by its simplicity, and bam! Hit it with the restraining order quickly afterwards. But you know what? I will say one thing that's very, very important. I think I'm coming around to go. I think I'm coming around to go. I think I am. The name is Maybe I Do Love C. A Jen.